Oh, Tesla, it is so hard to love you, especially this week. I have to say, and you couldn't probably tell by if you're watching other YouTubers or even reading some of the online publications that, in my opinion, Tesla probably had the worst week in 3-4 years this week. So first of all, let's start with the obvious. Remember how like three months ago we were all celebrating the Model 3 unveiling event? We were saying, hey, this is the EV revolution. This car will change the way the whole industry is operating, the consumers, the industry, everything, right? And I think we were still right. I think Model 3 is the breakthrough car for this industry and for the industries around it. But 3 months later, and Tesla reported that they've only delivered 220 out of 260 that they made in 3 months, pretty much since then. Now, let's remember that the first month in July, they said they will make 30, then 100 in August, and then 1,500 in September. So total, they should have already made 1,630 cars. So 260 is beyond disappointing. And, you know, so Elon cited that production bottlenecks are to blame. And the reason I'm doing this is because almost everybody who quoted him put that in quotes, because I don't think anybody really knows what that means, right? Because there were no signs of anything going wrong. He was sounding very optimistic. And to be honest with you, you know, I feel like the company has enough resources to get that done. We're talking about, you know, a third try now, right? There was Model S, then Model X. So at this point, we kind of expected them to kind of know what they were doing and to set unrealistic expectations and expect the realistic results. So that's disappointing. Now, they are saying that, listen, there's nothing majorly wrong, and there was just a couple of things that just prevented us from, you know, producing all these cars, but everything else is in place, and we're going to ramp up really quick. And that's great. I really hope they do. You guys know I'm a fan, right? This is, I think, as a fan, I'm so disappointed by this, because this is really putting a damper in the plan. Now, I don't know why stock, by the way, still went up this week and the day after that announcement. So that only shows us sometimes how the stock market doesn't really live in reality. But if you think about it, this is really disappointing, and I hope this is not a sign of what's going to come. And as you know, Tesla had problems in the past, promising a lot and pushing their deliveries and deadlines, you know, always pushing them forward. But the problem is this time around we thought, oh, look at that, you know, the delivery event was ahead of schedule. Ahead of schedule was mentioned by Elon, and so it is just, and by the way, so the reason he gave for that is bottlenecks, just like I said. It's I don't know what that means. Whatever it is, this is one of those things you just got to get this down, dude. So I hope we can see better results next month. Now, another thing that was, I think, also excruciatingly bad is the fact that they pushed the semi-truck event another couple of weeks. Now, let's remember, this is something that I've always felt was a distraction to the entire brand, okay? And don't forget, you know, Tesla is not one of the only thing that Elon does, right? He's been launching rockets almost every other day. There's a boring company drilling a tunnel under Los Angeles. There's just a lot of things going on. You know, Solar City obviously is ramping up with a lot of things, including solar roof. So there's a lot of things. So, you know, and semi-truck is not exactly going to blow people's minds, because, you know, it's a trucking industry. Just most people don't really care. Yeah, we're gonna see a pretty futuristic look, and yeah, it's great, but I just don't think this is something that should have been on the map, because now they're delaying it, right? It was scheduled for September. Then it was scheduled for October 26th, which, by the way, I already bought tickets because the referral program, I don't want to call us winners, but people who refer 5 people or more, you know, a lot of us already bought tickets. Now, granted, Tesla said we'll reimburse you guys for anything that's non-refundable. But nevertheless, I'm sure myself, like many other people, spend like over an hour on the phone with our travel agents or Expedia, whatever, trying to change our plans now to November 16th. And to be honest with you, Is it really going to happen on November 16th? And why push it? Now, Elon said that the truck is ready. The actual thing is ready. And by the way, the spy shot is right here. Now, it was impossible to trace this spy shot to anybody. Originally, it was posted on Reddit and then was taken down. And then a lot of people just reposted it. So I don't know who to credit the picture to. I usually try to credit it to whoever the source is. But in this case, I can't. Now, we don't know 100% if this is it, but if you look at the original picture that Tesla had, this does look very similar. Actually, it does match it up. Now, I have to say, I'm not really that impressed. You know, it looks like art students were given an assignment to draw a really big electric car, and this is what they came up with. I mean, it still looks pretty cool. I just kind of expected more. Like, I love the look of Model S and Model X and Model 3. I really am a fan. I think all three cars are like the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. This is not the most beautiful semi-truck I've ever seen, you know? Actually, some people who were trying to guess what it was going to look like, I think did a better job in their work. But let's just get back to the problem of pushing yet another deadline. I mean, this is the deadline that they've set for themselves. Nobody pushed them to create these deadlines. And yet, once again, they're breaking it for the second time for the Semi. I have to say that, so the reason for that, Elon said, it was to concentrate on Puerto Rico and trying to, rebuild some of their power grid, and to concentrate on Model 3s. Now, so this is now you mixing two disasters into one. Now you're saying, listen, we're trying to put out that fire by creating this fire. And I really don't like that. it just looks like how thin their resources are spread. And this is only one more proof that semi-truck is a distraction. And a destruction as well, I guess, in one way. But that it shouldn't have really just been on a map. So, don't like the spy shot. I don't hate it. I just don't like it. Hate the fact that they're moving it for the second time. Hate the fact that they're even working on it. And obviously the Model 3 on the delivery is bad. So we'll see what happens. But I really, really, really hope that this is going to be corrected very quickly. All right. So enough of pounding on Tesla. I'm just such a big fan. It's just, I'm just so disappointed. I'm just scorching mad at this whole situation. All right. So now let's go back to the story that's actually pretty, I call it heartwarming because it is, because, now it's turning into good PR and business opportunity because Elon now offered Puerto Rico to rebuild their power grid, and they've already been shipping a lot of power walls, as a lot of people reported to it. Now, I'm not really sure if power walls is enough because you need to have solar panels. As a matter of fact, I'm not quite sure how the whole thing will work because, if there's another hurricane, the solar panels will most likely get damaged just like the roofs and walls and everything else. So the power, and power walls only hold a power for 1 or 2 days. I don't quite understand how this is a solution for a disaster, but I do understand this is a small island. And infrastructure, it has been destroyed. Not that it really, let's face it, they didn't have a good infrastructure in the first place. That's why they ended up with none after a major hurricane. But it is a good, ground zero for Tesla to try to publicly resurrect this island, with green energy. Now, remember Tesla has done this before on a smaller scale. The Kauai, island, one of the America's Samoa's island, and now in Australia they have created a really big project powering an entire regions with the solar energy, which is great. So this is probably going to be the most visible project for Tesla to do. So I'm excited that they're doing it. But once again, great PR, but should they? Are they spreading themselves thin? Which kind of the answer is in Elon's tweet, which they are, because now they're taking the resources from the already delayed semi-truck to move there. I don't know if it's going to affect the Model 3 again. So good story. I'm excited for them to do this because, if they can rebuild a power grid of an entire island like Puerto Rico, this is definitely a major step for Tesla. But really, do they need the pressure right now? Not quite sure. Nevertheless, kudos to Elon Musk for sending the power packs there right now and for, at least discussing a way to rebuild that infrastructure, which, by the way, no one's discussing, including our government. So kudos to Elon for that. I'm just concerned as as a fan and definitely shareholders should also maybe be concerned. I hope it works out fine. All right, enough of Tesla because there are still a lot of exciting news coming out of other companies. This is one of the reasons I renamed my channel to E4 Electric from everything Tesla. So let's talk about it. Porsche Mission E. Spy shots came out and they're right here. And it looks like from that futuristic look that they were just kind of teasing us with only a few weeks ago, the car really looks like their current Panamera, which is cool. I like the way it looks. You see how fast we're going from cool prototypes to just, hey, well, this is what it's really going to look like. But nevertheless, it's considered to be one of the top candidates to compete with Tesla. They're going to come out within a couple of years. So it's exciting. And by the way, while they were taking the spy shots, I don't know if you see in some of those pictures, you see much of Teslas because they're obviously trying to compare the performance against Tesla, which is, it's fair. That's going to be their main competitor. And they've priced the car, I believe, mid-80s to start with. So the price is definitely competing, but their specs are a little weak compared to what Tesla has to offer. Nevertheless, we'll welcome the car to the market. It's kind of cool to see spy shots. Hopefully they will deliver on their promise. Another promise we've heard yet from another company, this time from GM, that they're going to come up with at least 20 electric cars by 2023. Now, normally I would really get on their butt about it because that's 5 more, years. But they do have Chevy Bolt, the only other car besides Tesla that has a decent range of over 200 miles. So I'm hoping that they have we know they have the technology, but at the same time, I'm hoping they can really achieve it. They at least in a position to do it much faster than other manufacturers are committed to the same thing. But nevertheless, it's 2023. That's what we're saying. And also Ford finally jumped in. They've created a Team Edison, they called, to guide their company for their future electric fleet. They've already committed to $4.5 billion and actually just committed to more for this development. They're already late to the game. They're definitely behind almost everybody else, despite the fact that they're a huge car maker. But they're also, again, they're promising to have a promise to us at some point. So that's, again, welcome. We're welcoming them into our world. But they're a little bit late and the promises are a little bit weak. Now, the only thing I reported a while back when I was reviewing Lucid Motors, well, why am I mentioning that is because Ford has been rumored to be in conversations with Lucid Motors about possibly buying them. Now, if that happens, that will make Ford jump from all the way back from the line, all the way to the front of the line, because Lucid Motors is actually considered to be one of the realistic competitors to Tesla if they can make it to the market, right? And Ford obviously can push them much faster and into reality. So Ford is on board finally, sort of, but I'm glad to have them. Lastly, I've been talking about Nissan Leaf a lot lately, as you guys know, the new Nissan Leaf, not the old one that I hate, the new one. I like the new look. The range is pretty good. I've done a couple of reviews. I'm gonna compare Nissan Leaf, the new one, to the Chevy Bolt in the next week, so stay tuned. But for now, it looks like they're coming up with a Nismo version, and they're going to unveil it, I believe it was on the 25th of this month at the Tokyo Motor Show. Now, don't forget, this is still a concept. It looks a little bit sportier, sexier than the regular one, but it's good to see that they're doing something for people who maybe just not 100% satisfied with their look, but they just want something sporty, and there's always a market for that. Let's not forget though that they've teased with this before with their Nismo brand, and that never happened. So we don't know if this is going to happen, but I'm assuming because Nissan Leaf has been pretty popular as far as electric cars are concerned. So I hope they really come through with this one. So the news of the electric car market is continuing in the right direction. I like that. The Tesla news have been tough. Hoping they're going to overcome all of that and get back on track. But one thing that I think we know is that the next couple of years are going to be really exciting. So I can't wait. There will be more announcements. There will be more unveilings. I myself will be at the one, if I will be at the one in LA, unless they keep changing to the point where I just can't go. but I'm hoping that the 16th is going to be the final date, and we'll go and check it out. And who knows? Some people are speculating they might announce something else. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me for this week. I will see you next time. And remember to stay charged.